If you drive 30 kilometers outside the holy city of Qom in Iran, the road simply disappears into the earth. Sitting beneath 80 meters of solid mountain rock is Fordo, a highly sensitive nuclear enrichment facility. Inside that mountain, 3,000 centrifuges sit secured behind submarine-grade, blast-proof doors. They operate at supersonic speeds, spinning uranium hexafluoride gas to pull the fissile isotope closer to the concentration required for a weapon. Israel's heaviest bomb penetrates 6 meters of concrete. Fordo sits 80 meters deep. Furthermore, adding Iran's S-300 defenses compounds the problem. These missiles target aircraft 150 kilometers away. A strike must survive a gauntlet just to reach an impenetrable target. If the Israeli Air Force dropped its entire inventory of munitions on the exact same spot, it would only create a crater on the surface. 80 meters below, those centrifuges would keep spinning without interruption. The engineers who built Fordo solved a decades-old vulnerability in military infrastructure. By using the oldest material on Earth, rock, they designed a fortress engineered specifically to survive air power. By 2010, Mossad director Tamir Pardo faced a brutal arithmetic. If the mountain couldn't be broken from above, it had to be dismantled from the inside by operatives walking through the front door undetected. The logistical reality of this operation was dizzying. It required dozens of operatives to assume airtight Iranian cover identities, smuggle heavily calibrated explosives to gut the centrifuges from the inside out, secure physical proof of the enriched uranium, and somehow extract every single agent alive. The strictest barrier to the operation was political. In 2015, international leaders signed the JCPOA nuclear deal. Fordo was neutralized by diplomacy, and the Israeli covert operation, years in the making, was shelved. The teams were told to stand down. The plan never launched, but shelving it freed up massive resources, personnel, and intelligence. The Mossad took 15 years of operational planning and repackaged it into a completely new strategy. When Yossi Cohen took over the Mossad in 2016, he shifted the agency's approach. To truly exploit the mountain's vulnerabilities, his teams needed its exact architectural blueprint. On the night of January 31, 2018, during a total lunar eclipse, a team of agents infiltrated a dark warehouse in southern Tehran. They had exactly 7 hours to bypass the alarms and cut open 32 safes with plasma torches before the morning security shift arrived. Instead of simply photographing the files, the operatives hauled away half a ton of physical material. Taking the original documents ensured the Iranian government could never dismiss the intelligence as a foreign forgery. Reconstructed from those stolen files, this 3D wireframe schematic shows the internal layout of the Fordo facility. While satellites only track surface heat, these blueprints mapped the previously invisible subterranean infrastructure, pinpointing ventilation shafts, blast doors, and internal security checkpoints. The Mossad now possessed a complete map of a facility they had spent years trying to breach. They knew exactly where an intruder would need to step. Any physical approach to Fordo required navigating the dense religious and civilian foot traffic of nearby Qom. No amount of preparation could give an Israeli operative the dialect, mannerisms, and religious codes required to bypass that human perimeter undetected.
Cohen bypassed this by directing the agency to look inward. They built a foreign legion by recruiting non-Israeli agents directly from Iran's 90 million-strong population, targeting ethnic minorities and citizens with deep grievances against the regime. Intelligence officers built this network with extreme patience. They identified people whose relatives had been arrested or beaten, offering them an avenue for revenge, or trading life-saving medical treatments for their children in exchange for absolute operational loyalty. By November 2020, this internal network proved its lethal capability. They assassinated Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, the physicist leading Iran's weapons program. Local recruits smuggled in and assembled an AI-targeted machine gun along his route, executing the strike remotely without a single Israeli operative present. Mossad no longer needed to figure out how to sneak operatives across the border. They had armed and trained a paramilitary force of citizens already living inside the country. By June 2025, international inspectors warned that Iran was weeks away from possessing a nuclear weapon. Facing a rapidly closing window, Mossad Director David Barnea pulled the Fordo files from the vault and activated the proxy army. Under Operation Rising Lion, roughly 70 agents activated simultaneously across the country. Operatives pulled pre-smuggled weaponry from civilian trucks and safe houses, attacking Iranian air defense batteries and ballistic missile launchers from the ground. Meanwhile, Israeli cyber units forged communications to lure senior military officers to an emergency meeting, annihilating the underground bunker with a precision strike. Other commanders were killed in their own apartments based on meticulously tracked sleep schedules. With the air defenses degraded, Israeli warplanes flew hundreds of sorties, dismantling nuclear facilities at Natanz and Isfahan without losing a single jet. Yet Fordo remained completely untouched beneath 80 meters of rock. Israeli strikes had neutralized nearly the entire Iranian defense grid, clearing the skies for a conventional victory. Yet the one facility that triggered this 15-year odyssey remained untouched, spinning its centrifuges in the dark. Israel had done everything it could. Now they waited. For 9 days, military planners in Washington debated the intelligence and weighed the risks of Iranian retaliation against American troops in the region. The debate ended on June 22nd. Under the designation Operation Midnight Hammer, 6 American B-2 stealth bombers crossed into Iranian airspace. As seen in this animation, the American aircraft delivered 12 30,000-pound massive ordnance penetrators directly into the mountain. The bombs sliced cleanly through the rock, detonating deep inside the centrifuge halls and collapsing the entire subterranean structure from within. The strike triggered an institutional collapse within the Islamic Republic. Iranian intelligence arrested over 700 of their own citizens for espionage. Surviving nuclear scientists requested replacement bodyguards, trusting no one around them. Mossad agents never strapped on explosives and walked through those blast doors. The initial impossible plan never materialized. But the obsession with solving the math of that mountain forced Israeli intelligence to build an invisible army that stripped away an entire nation's defenses from the inside.